a, I, un, ruluk, eong, iouch, hayavarat, lan, nyamangananam, jabhangi, kadhadash, jabakadadash, kapachatata chatatav, kapai, shashasar, hal, Vrtiradayich adengunaha ikoguna vrti halonantaraha samyogaha mukkanasika vachano nunasakaha tuyasya prayatnam savarnam. Now, to my embarrassment, I guess you could say, I listened to the last conversation again, and I realized that I had been sloppy when I was describing one aspect, a lesser aspect of the sutra, which is that tulyasya prayatnam is a bahuvrihi compound. And I was distracted, I'll say, and I said tulyasya prayatnam savarnam is bahuvrihi. No. So it's asya prayatnam, that one whose place and effort of articulation are tulya, the same. So those ones whose place and effort of articulation are the same are savarna, mutually savarna. Now we'll have our first vartaka. And one of the fun things about sharing what I have understand of the grammar is each time I undertake it, I just naturally look a little further and explore a little further away from the material that I was given to start with, which I certainly have not entirely mastered by some degree. So vartakas are emendations, you could say, of the original sutras. And certainly when Prabhakara Shastri gave me vartakas, I didn't question I didn't question anything, but I certainly didn't ask or where they came from or much more about them. And so there are a lot of interesting things to say or explore, and I'm still that's what I meant is this time around. Last time around, I was delving more deeply into commentary, especially Siddhanta comedy. And this time I'm looking a little further into the Vartakas, not super far, but. So one of the things is that unlike the sutras, which are at least by consensus pretty solidified at this point, Vartakas are not. There is an opus of Vartakas, Katyayana in Mahabhasha, and but there are other Bhartahari has offered Vartakas. I think we'll have some of those coming up. So these are more variable is the first thing to say. Then at some point maybe we can talk about Vartakas in more depth and what they represent in different people's opinions and so on and so forth. But for right now, we'll just start with our first Vartaka. Rula Varnayormita Savarnyam Vacham. Rula Varnayormita Savarnyam Vacham. Rula Varnayormita Savarnyam Vacham. So, Rula Varnayoho Mitaha Savarnyam Vacham. Rula Varnayormita Savarnyam Vacham. Rula Varnayoho Mitaha Savarnyam Vacham. So the two sounds, the vocalic r and l, those two sounds, rla varnayoho, mitaha, mutually, savarnyam vacham, should be spoken of as being savarna. So to paraphrase that a little bit more, it means that although r and lr don't meet the criteria for savarnahood from tulyasya prayatnam savarnam, they are by necessity to be considered as savarna. So this is very useful, very important to us down the road, in Sundays in particular. Now, so that's pretty straightforward. This is also a lead-in to our introduction that I'm going to do next time into what this means, the places and efforts of articulation. Also, just by way of my interest, I'm intrigued by the fact that this Vartika does not appear in some places. For instance, the 5-volume translation of Ashtadhyayi by Professor Sharma doesn't mention this Vartika at all, but spends most of its commentary time on the basis of Asya, the formation Asya and Tulyasya. And I think for me this taps into the divergent focal points or points of view about aspects of the grammar between the scholar and the student of the grammar, by which I mean one who's undertaking to learn the grammar, because this is something you really want to have, this Vartika. And although I would never ever presume to say that I am equipped to read Mahabhasha myself, I can at least see that the Vartika appears Rukara Lurkara Yoho Savarnam Vidhi, which I understand to mean pretty much the same thing, although the long discussion is way beyond me and I wouldn't try. So that's it for the Vartika, our first Vartika, Varnayormita Savarnyam Vacham. So we take that together with the sutra, to which it's related. So Tulyasya Prayatnam Savarnam, those with the same place and effort of articulation are called Savarna. However, Varnayormita Savarnyam Vacham, even though the sounds r and l do not meet criteria for savarnahood, for the operation of the grammar, it should be understood, they should be understood as mutually savarna. And next time I will do an introduction to the actual places and efforts of articulation.